Hey, Mark Rugen for SAI, simplifying excellence once again. Let me show you how. I'm happy to announce the release of Flexi 12, and I want to show you some of the new features you're going to get in this brand new product. I think you're going to love them. Lots of new improvements in the design, cut, and print features of Flexi 12. You can see here artwork approval tools, contour nesting, QR codes, rhinestone patterns, animating how your vinyl cutter is going to cut the actual job. Lots of on the printing side too, printing smoother gradients with less banding, banner and canvas finishing tools, nesting and alignment tools. Even the Pantone Plus spot color library has been added. And yes, Flexi 12 is supported in Windows 10. So if you've been wondering about that, you can. You can also import multiple files, open multiple files, and you get some quick previews right in Production Manager, which has been redesigned to make sure that you have the best workflow possible. Let me show you some of these features. So first, let's talk about the new improved design features in Flexi 12. The artwork approval tool, the true shape nesting of contour paths, and the QR and data metrics codes. And I'll even show you the rhinestone stuff. It's really nice features that have been added to help your designing in Flexi and make things really efficient for workflow as well. Next slide, you're going to see an actual video of these features. Okay, let's get into some of the new features in Flexi 12. I think you're going to love these, especially this first one right over here. I've got a few files open just to show you these, but over on the right hand side here, I want to show you one that's really, really cool. This is called job approval. Let's say you want to take this image, you've designed it, and you're going to send it to your customer. Make sure that they're happy with the job that you've just created. Well, you could email it to them, you could ask them to come into the office, you could do all those things, but hey, why not in Flexi 12 take advantage of, in the file menu, the send to approval tool. This is a nice feature. I'm going to click on that and I'm going to create a new job from this one, and I'll show you why. It's just basically a new approval job. You type in the name of the job that you're going to send, a customer's name, his email address. Going to do that twice, make sure you get it right. Type in any notes you want, sizes, and so forth, and hit submit. Now you can go on working on other projects while this is uploading, and what it's actually doing is it's uploading it to your 5 gig account that you get with your Flexi 12. It's provided free of charge, and it's just for you to use for this kind of thing. You're going to actually send this file to the customer for them to take a look at. Now, once that gets uploaded, you'll get a little message that says your art has been uploaded for approval. You click OK on that. And at this point, an email is being generated and being sent to the email address you put in there for your customer. Your customer is going to get an email that says they have a job to take a look at. So let's go to our email account. All right, so we jump into our email account. There's the email. We're going to double click on that. And it's basically going to say that, dear customer, we have a job that we want you to take a look at and approve and get back to us. So they're going to click right on this link, and that's going to start their particular web browser. When the web browser starts, you can see it gives them a display of the actual image itself, and they can either just approve it right here or add comments to it. Like, for instance, I'm gonna surround this one, and I'm gonna say, can you improve this a bit and make it more legible or readable? That's something like that. So they're just going to say save that, and basically it changes from approval to send comments, and you can see that little rectangles around there with the actual comment that the customer made right here. So this is revision 1 of this. When they click on send comments, then what happens there is it generates an email that you will get in return that allows you to actually take a look at their comments. So let's go up here to the Gmail account. So now in my Gmail account, I have an email that says, hey, you have a job that's approval that's ready for your review. I'm going to click on that, and there's the link. I can click on that, and it takes me in my web browser back to that page. You sign into your page, and there's their comments, right? And can you improve this? You can view their comments, and that brings up the actual larger image and even shows you where the comments are located. You can see the little rectangle again, and it shows you their comments. So you could literally highlight different areas and see what's happening in there, and then download this if you want to, so that you can make changes to this. Now I'm going to just go back to my regular Flexi here, and I'm also going to turn on our cloud features over here, because there's a new button called artwork approval over here, and when you click on that, you'll actually see all the jobs that are in your account that are pending approval here. So this gives you a list of every single one, and this one actually says you have feedback. So I have several jobs with feedback, several that's been approved, some that are waiting. This is all great. It gives you a way to kind of account for your particular project. So the next thing we do is we make our changes. Let's say that we're going to add like a little distortion to this. I think I'll distort it something like this, maybe not quite that much, something like that, and I'll say okay. Move that down over the page here, and then maybe I'll add a little shadow behind it. These are great design features. I know lots of folks can use this. Maybe make that stronger. You can make the make this a little stronger, more resolution, a little more less opaque. Say okay to that, and generate a new layout for this particular customer. Now once that customer takes a look at this, they may like it, and if they do, then you're ready to go. So we've got this thing changed. Let's move it down just a bit, make sure it's right on our film. Everything looks cool there. We need to send it back to our customer. No problem, we've made the changes. But this time when we go to the approval part, we're going to add it to an existing job because we already created one for them. So we're going to click OK, and that's going to give us a list of all of our jobs here, and here's the one that we actually want to append to. So I'm going to say select that one. Now we'll upload revision number 2. So this gets sent again to your customer. They will receive an email just like before, and then they can open their email, take a look at your changes, and perhaps approve the job. Let's see what they say. All right, so here's the new email. So the customer is going to double click on that, double click on the link, and so here's your changes, and they like it. They like what you've done. That's revision 2. You can see your revisions are being tracked down here on the bottom, and they give approval to it. Once they approve it, it's going to send an email to you saying that job is approved. And once I've logged in, I see that I have it approved. And again, I can download the file right from here. I can click right on it. I can see their approval, the changes. I could download it, manage it. I see all my revisions listed here. This is the way that workflow should be done. So now Flexi is not just for design, but it's also for that workflow and relationship that you're building with your customer. Alrighty, let's go back to Flexi here. That's just one feature, by the way. We haven't even gotten started yet. We got tons of new features in this new version. So let's take a look at another one. Let's take a look down here. Contour nesting. We're talking about contour cutting. So I've developed all these contour cuts, and I want to actually, do something with those cuts. I want to make sure that when I'm going to cut these out, and let's pretend that this border back here is my actual vinyl. I don't want to waste all this space and all this vinyl in here. So what can I do about that? Let's grab all of those together. Let's go to arrange, and let's do true shape nesting. So now true shape nesting works on the contour shape, not just the bitmap or the image itself. So I'm going to click on that and click redraw, and guess what happens? It's actually going to fit those drawings right in my page in the least amount of material. See how it's kind of stacking them back here? I'll click OK, and I'll show you what happens. Isn't that great? Look at all the vinyl that I've saved over here. Also, I can actually control when I do true shape nesting, when I have that activated and I go back here and I say true shape nesting, I can control the rotation angle. I can control how much space to put in between each piece. So I want a little bit more space in there, no problem. Let's just redo that, and it'll actually add a little bit more space, or it'll change the rotation angle. And right here I can actually define how much material I actually want to use. So that is a great new feature, again, in Flexi 12. I thought you'd love to see that. And then finally, just show you one other one here. This is kind of neat. QR codes are becoming very popular here. There's two types, and we're going to show you both. In the text menu, I'm going to say change that graphic, that lettering right there, into a QR code. You're probably familiar with these. You could take your smartphone now, click on that, and it goes to that website. Well, we have options over here to make sure of that. You can make that an email address, send an text message to someone, go to a Google map, maybe just make it plain text. You got all your option capabilities built in right here. Very, very cool. Also, a different kind of QR code. We're going to go to text over here, and it's called data matrix. It's used more in the inventory warehousing type of environment rather than signage. So it's a little bit different style. But again, you have all your capabilities here in terms of size. You've got the different kinds of encoding. So you're going to be able to create either one of these. More than likely, if you're a sign shop, you're going to use this one up here most often. But there's a lot of folks out there that are involved in that inventory type system, and now you can do it right within Flexi 12 itself. That is a great feature. Can you see the reason why I want you to update, upgrade, subscribe, buy this program? This is an awesome program. I've only gotten started. Take a look at some of the other videos. I think you'll be even more impressed. Cool stuff too in the cut side of Flexi. And by that, what I really mean is in Flexi, you can actually now preview and change the vinyl cutting order, which is really nice. It allows you to see how the vinyl cutter is going to actually run. You can then manually or use the wizard that's within the Design Central, change the cutting order so that it's the best way for your particular cutter. And then you can actually see a preview of that before you ever send anything to the cutter. So this is a great new feature. Let me show you exactly how it works. Some great new cutting features in Flexi as well. You know as well as I do, when you add this job to a vinyl cutter, you want to cut it in the way that vinyl moves the least amount so you don't have so much skewing and so forth. You don't want it to cut randomly like over here and then to the right and the bottom and so forth. You want to cut it in some order that's going to make the job faster and less chance of skewing and all kinds of other effects. So this is that little contour job we did before. I want to see how the contour cuts are actually going to be cut. Well, now you can go to the Arrange menu and you can choose Cut Order and Reorder. And it actually shows you, this is where your knife blade is down here, it shows you that it's going to move my knife all the way over here, then up here, then down here. And you can see that's fairly random. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, let's optimize the starting points and let's go in here and maximize the speed. So now it's going to cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pretty nice order right there. I can manually change that too. I can say I want this one to cut first, and then this one second, and then this one third, and then fourth. I mean, I can actually tell it how I want this to cut by just clicking on the screen as well. So I've told it the first 4 places that I want this to cut. So I'm going to click OK on that. And then I'm going to go back to the Arrange menu, and I'm actually going to see what my results are. I'm going to do a preview, and it's going to show me how that's going to cut. That's an awesome new feature that kind of shows you that you're not going to get this random cutting in your vinyl cutter. You're going to do something that's going to preserve and lessen the amount of skew, and then preserve the cutting order. I think that's an awesome new tool found brand new in Flexi 12. Happy cutting. I think you're going to love this one. Some nice new improvement as well on the printing side of Flexi. We've added a very unique feature called clean color for pure hue. I'll explain it better when we actually do the video so that you understand. But what it means is you're going to get better color matching, richer colors. It's gonna really eliminate a lot of issues you may be having. You're going to be able to print smoother gradients with less banding. We've added banner and canvas finishing tools. We've even added the ability to do some manual and automatic nesting as well as alignment tools right within Production Manager, as well as adding the Pantone Plus Spot Color library. Let's take a look at the video and I'll show you all these. All right, let's go over a few of the new print features of Flexi as well. I think you're going to love some of these. Some of these you're just going to benefit from, and in others you're going to see some immediate visual benefit as well. Just overall better printing features. Let's take this graphic that I've designed here, and maybe this is a banner that I actually want to print out. Well, I'm going to need to add grommet marks across the top and side, maybe fold lines and so forth. I don't want to do that using some macro or whatever in Illustrator or something like that. I want to do it right within my design software. So here I am right here. Let's go ahead and print that thing out. We're going to send it over to our printer. In this case, I'm using a little Muto. Okay, so this is the size of the file here. It's about 6 foot wide. So I'm going to put it on hold. I'm just going to hit send and put it on hold. And what that's going to do is take that job and transfer it to the new production manager, which I think you're going to really love. So let's go over and take a look at production manager. Here's production manager. That job will show up in this queue over here where the Muto is. And notice one of the nice new features, immediately it shows up as a preview right here. So I immediately know what the job is and all the information about it. Now, if I double click on that job that's in the whole queue there, I get a whole slew of things I can do with it. I'm going to maximize that screen. And one of them is right here at the end. It's called finishing tools. I'm just going to click on that, and guess what? I can add grommet holes right in here. I can determine the size of those by just putting it in, the color, whether I want, how many I want. Just depends on the job, doesn't it? So if I only want 3 vertically, I can go to 3 here, see, and it just puts them in there. Instead of measuring and trying to figure out where to put those holes, it's marking them for me, and I can control how far in and so forth and so on. I can add a fold line, so I actually get to see the fold line right here, and I can actually put a frame around that or a stitch line. I mean, it's really, really cool. And I can change the colors. Again, depending on the graphic you're using, you might want to choose a different color here for that particular piece, right? All right, and then you bleeds. It took the actual graphic itself and it's doing a bleed on the outside here so that, and I'm going to change that back to black because that's more appropriate. It's doing a little bleed out here. So now I know I can print this a little larger. I can print the extra bleeds along the edge here, and that's going to give me a nice fold where, you know, I can actually cut this and make my banner out of it. And you see the corners are missing right here. Well, we even have a switch. We can turn those corners back on, because if this were, say, going to be wrapped around a frame or like displayed in a gallery or something like that, of a smaller kind of artwork, I'd want those corners so I can make sure I hide the frame. So I can turn those on and off. Somebody gave this a lot of thought. This is a really great feature in the product as well. So I'm going to click OK on that. And in fact, I'll click OK over here, and then you'll see that it actually shows it. It looks like it's a little too wide for that printer. So again, it's giving me a nice preview to tell me what's happening here. So I'm just going to fit it to the media in this case, and that way I'll be sure to sneak it in. Maybe it's a little less than I wanted, but you know how that goes in real jobs, right? All right, let's just click OK on that. Some other things too, by the way, let's double click on this, and I'm just going to make it smaller now. I'm not going to fit it to the media. I'm literally going to make it much smaller. And I'm doing this on purpose, all right? So I'm printing a little small banner like that. And then I'm going to also import some new jobs. Like into this printer right here, I'm going to add some jobs, all right? So it opens up wherever my job folder is, and I can pick these new jobs here. I'm going to go ahead and click on maybe this one up here, all right? This little flowers here. I'm just clicking on that, and I'm going to hold the control key down and maybe click on an illustration like this one. Okay, and I can add multiple jobs. I'm going to click add, and adds them all simultaneously. So I have that job, and that job, right? Let's take all 3 of those jobs, all 3 of them together, and nest them. Now, if they can't be nested for some reason, that won't show up. But look, I can take these 2, and those 2 can be nested. So it protects you in that way. And there's some kind of difference between these 2. Maybe it's media or inks or something like that. Okay, so we're going to go nest those 2 jobs. Let's click nest on there. Okay, and what that does is that actually creates a new job that's actually the nested job. When I double click on that new job, it's both of those jobs together. Here's some cool things, okay? I'm going to add more copies of that one. I'm going to take this one and make it a little bit bigger, okay? And maybe make 2 copies of that. Look what it's doing. It's automatically nesting over here. But I can manually do this. I can manually rotate those. Look at that. I can take those 2 jobs right there, and I can actually say, you know what, let's align those like this. Let's align those so that they're even like that, right? Look at that. That is nice, right? I can place them. I can manually do this if I want to. There is really no other software out there that can really do and give you this kind of control over your graphics right from Production Manager, right from the Job Manager. This is a wonderful new feature that's been added to the capabilities of the product. Also, if I had gradients in here or something like that, if I go to my 3rd tab over here to print this, which is where I have all my color management, we've added this check mark called smooth gradients. We've got 16-bit gradients now, which means you're going to get smoother gradients and far less banding. That's pretty much automated for you at this point. And we've added, of course, the Pantone Plus spot color library. So You've really got a powerful tool here when it comes to printing. It's called Flexi 12. I know you're going to enjoy it. There's tons more features. You need to get a demo. You need to upgrade. Now is the time. If you've been waiting, you're a 7 or an 8 user or even a 10 user, now is the time to do it. I highly recommend it to you. What are some of the other improvements in the program? How about this? How about an updated companion mobile app for your smartphone or support for the Apple Watch and Android Wear devices? That's right, you can track your shop's production right in your hand or on your wrist. Very nice new feature. Finally, I just want to mention this Flexi 12 is supported by Windows 10, so you're not going to have any issues there. You can open and import multiple files into Production Manager as well as into Flexi, which is great. And there's even a quick preview in Production Manager so you can see the job you're about to print right away. There's great improvements in Flexi 12. Well worth the demo or the upgrade. If you're thinking about it, now's the time to do it.